Hey YouTube, here is my commuter bicycle that I wanted to make a YouTube video about. I know there's some videos out there kind of going towards the commuting style and what to kind of do, but I wanted to show everyone my setup and give you my story of how I've come to have this setup. I actually used to have a hardtail mountain bike that I use for my commuting purposes. Now I would take off my mountain tires and go ahead and put on road slick tires that you'd usually see on a road bike. And I actually ended up getting fed up with having to go back and forth from mountain tires to road. It just took up too much of my time, and I knew immediately that I had to have two separate bikes for two different purposes. One to do mountain bike stuff and one for commuting. So I actually ended up finding this bike. My brother actually had it laying around the house that wasn't being used, and so I went ahead and utilized it. Now, for my previous experience of using my mountain bike for commuting, I knew of a few things that I needed to have for a designated commuter bike. And as you're looking right here, I actually went ahead and I installed fenders and a rear rack. These two things will actually make a world of difference for you. Believe me. A rear rack you could use for books, anything heavy, stuff that you don't want to carry on your back, like in a backpack. And the fenders are a must. I live in southern Utah, and sometimes we get snow, rain, whatever, and I'm not the kind of person who likes to put off taking my bike out. I actually like to ride as much as I can. And so the fenders actually work really, really good. They keep the grime of the road off you. If you've ever ridden without fenders on a wet surface or anything like that, you will get really, really messy in a hurry. Now, when you've made the decision to go ahead and convert over a bicycle to your full-time commuter, there's a few things that you should look for to be successful. The most important aspect to a commuting bicycle is what's called mounting eyelets. This is the position on the frame of where you can mount your fenders and your racks to directly to the frame. You have to be careful with this because a lot of bicycles out there on the market do not have these mounting positions. But on the contrary, a lot of bicycles are made specifically for commuting, and so they have a lot of these mounting positions where you can mount whatever you want far as accessories goes. Now, as we go throughout my different pictures here, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Here's a picture looking at the back of my bike, and as you can tell, I'm a real fan of the skinnier road tires. Now, me personally, for the area that I ride in, I ride through snow, rain, different climates like that, and so I prefer a little tread on my tires to keep me a little more safe. At the same time, you're looking at my rear fender there. Now notice how far down that fender comes. When you're buying fenders, make sure that they come down low enough to keep all that water from splashing up on your back. That's really important. And also get the proper width. Fenders come in different widths, and so for a skinnier tire like what I have here, you want to purchase a skinnier fender to make sure it will fit properly. Here's a picture of my rear rack. Now, as you can see at the bottom of the picture, the rack is actually bolted to one of those mounting eyelets I was talking about earlier. It's bolted directly to the frame. It's kind of hard to tell from this picture, but as you look in the top right hand corner where the top of the rack mounts to the frame right there, I actually don't have any mounting eyelets there. I actually have another picture here to show you more of what I'm talking about. I had to go ahead and zip tie the rack post directly to the frame. Now it's a really strong zip tie, and so I actually feel really confident about the mounting right there. I think it's just as good as going ahead and bolting it to an eyelet there, but it is plastic, it could break really easy. Now while we're looking at the same picture, notice the orange zip tie that's down there as well. Now that orange zip tie is going to the fender mount right there. Now these fenders, they actually came from the factory expecting you to mount them to the brake caliper itself, that rear nut right there. I found it extremely hard to adjust the brakes after the fender has been mounted on the caliper itself. The brakes would always come out of adjustment and always want to rub on one side because you have the extra spacer in between the nut and the frame right there. And so I just took that out of the equation and went ahead and zip tied it up there to where the rack zip tie is as well. And it has actually worked out really, really good. I have no complaints about it. This is showing that I did a similar operation to the front fender to keep it off that brake caliper so I could keep my adjustments precise. Now, if you're going to be commuting long distances, it's not a bad idea to get a clip-in system for shoes. Now, I only commute a few miles each way, so I just have this slip-in style here. But you can also get the really nice ones where you actually have special shoes that clip in to keep you really secure to the bike. You're more efficient and you're more comfortable that way. To make sure that you remain the owner of your commuter bike, a lock is a must for everywhere you go. I'm from Vegas, and so if you don't lock it up, in a matter of 5 minutes, your bike is gone. Now, for other areas, you may not need a nice lock like this kryptonite, but I would highly recommend it. No matter where you are, you need a nice lock. Just remember that you have thieves no matter where you go, and so if it's an easy item to steal, they will take it. Your personal safety is just as important as keeping your bike safe. Right here, you're looking at a tail light and a headlight. Both of these items are really good to have on you, just in case if you get caught out in the dark and you're not home before the sun sets. It allows motorists to see you. Both of these items, they're not expensive. They blink really bright so motorists can see you. And plus, the headlight actually works really good to illuminate the area in front of you, even when you're going fast. Gives you some extra confidence when you're riding your bike at nighttime. If you're ever riding your bike with pants on, your chain and sprocket will actually grab your pant leg and actually rip it, tear it, get it all dirty. And so a device to actually restrain and actually wrap around your pant leg to keep it out of the chain and sprocket is actually a really good idea. You're looking at one that I just made out of paracord. It actually works really good and very effective. A common accessory seen on most commuter bikes are a set of Pioneer bags. These Pioneer bags can go on your racks that you install on your bicycle. They're really great accessory. I would highly recommend them. They're so versatile. You can use them for groceries, for schoolwork, for work, anything you can imagine. If you can fit it in there, it will go with you. If you're not in need of taking a lot of gear along with you on your commute, a trunk bag, just like this one right here, works really good. They sit right on top of the rack right there, and they do good at filling in the void for taking lunch or smaller items like that. When commuting, you want to be most efficient as possible. Now, through my personal experience, a lot of bikes are not adjusted properly. Right here, you're looking at the front hub of the bicycle wheel. Now, in there, there's ball bearings. If it's too tight, it's not going to spin smoothly. If it's too loose, you're going to start ruining bearings and you're going to start ruining races, which will start to scratch and be very hard to spin around. You have the same type of scenario inside your crank. You have bearings in there, so it's really important to have your crank adjusted properly so you can be most effective as you can possibly be. It's an easy concept to think about, but keeping your tires at the proper PSI is really good. Now, this is another reason why I like road tires, is because you can pump them up to an extra higher PSI than, let's say, regular mountain bike tires. Now, when I was on a mountain bike, I tended to always pump them up to the max PSI that they were rated for. When you have extra PSI in your tires, that equals less rolling resistance, thus making you more efficient. I want to give a special thanks to everyone who's watching this video, and especially to those of you who are venturing out to get on a bicycle and to commute with it. It's a great way to go to get from point A to point B. It's a lot of fun, gives you some great exercise, gets you out, gets you seeing things that you normally wouldn't from a vehicle, and especially with how high gas prices are right now, it's not a bad way to go. It's very economical, a good way to go. If you guys have any questions or concerns or comments, please feel free to leave them. I'll try my best to get back with you. Again, I appreciate you guys more than ever, and we'll see you guys around. Thank you. Bye-bye.